Hello and welcome to this week's video email. You never know where the spark lands. Last week I wrote about sparks, those moments of awe, curiosity, creativity and connection that can quietly shape a child's sense of possibility, sometimes for years afterwards. I actually received many replies to that email. It obviously struck a spark of its own. I'd like to share one response with you here because I found it so powerful. Catherine generously shared her story. I thought today's email was very thought-provoking, but I also wanted to say that it does just take a spark and you may never know what your impact is. A couple of years ago, my daughter had to go to a recording studio to record a violin track for some project. And this lad came up to me and said, "Mrs. Owen." To be honest, I had no idea who he was or what school he had been to. After a short conversation, it emerged that he went to a school where the children were completely wild, with no teacher support, and, to be honest, it was such an awful experience. I went in, did my best, and went out again. Anyway, he said, "It's because of you that I'm now here. Thank you for the great music lessons." I was stunned. How could something so positive in a child's eyes come out of something that felt so difficult? Anyway, it goes back to the spark. I gave him a spark when he was in year 5, and now, as an adult, he has pursued a fulfilling life in the recording industry. I thought this captured something so important. Sometimes the experiences that feel the most successful to us aren't necessarily the ones that stay with the children. And equally, sometimes the moments where we might believe we're fighting a losing battle, feeling ineffective, stretched, exhausted, or unsure whether anything meaningful is landing, are quietly on the path to becoming significant in ways we can't yet see. I imagine many people reading this will recognise those particular signposts: managing difficult behaviour, trying so hard to engage the disengaged, holding things together by a really fragile thread, returning home questioning everything you did or didn't do. And yet, on so many occasions, it becomes apparent that children don't always experience those moments in the same ways we do. Sometimes they remember the song or the feeling or the permission to participate, or simply the fact that, for a moment, as in this example, somebody saw something within them. I think that's one of the most extraordinary and magical things about creative work with children. We rarely get to see the immediate evidence of impact, and often we may never know it at all. But every now and then, somebody appears years later in a recording studio and reminds us that those small moments can travel a very long way. Perhaps that's another reason why everyday musical moments still matter so much. Not because every spark becomes a career, but because moments of creativity, belonging, encouragement and expression can become part of how a child understands themselves, sometimes long after we've forgotten that moment ourselves. As many of our community members return to school after the half-term break, wishing you all a week filled with meaningful moments, even the ones that may not look especially meaningful, and perhaps even desperate at the time. And just before ending, I'd like to thank all of you who have been in touch in one way or another over the past week. It's always a pleasure and an inspiration to share our stories with each other and to just touch base. I love hearing from you. Many thanks, as always, for watching, and see you in the next one.